Okay, well, I am Katie Joy, as you know, and I'm here with Paul Nison, who is a raw food enthusiast and author. And it's very exciting for me personally to be talking with Paul. We just came out of a lecture that he was doing this weekend. He is here talking about the formula for health and about eating in the daytime versus nighttime. And there's lots of powerful reasons why that he talks about this. I'm learning a lot from him. And one of the reasons I am particularly, like I said, excited about being here with Paul is that when I first was introduced to the raw food lifestyle, my husband happened to have one of his books on the shelf at home. I knew nothing about this lifestyle, and I picked up a book called Raw Knowledge, and it was by Paul, and it was very inspirational. It had a lot of biographies in there for people who had been doing the lifestyle for many years, and it was probably the thing that helped me the most, just to read about what do people eat, what do they do, what is this lifestyle. And Paul has a very kind of candid, upfront, no mess around approach, and it really helped me and has helped me along my journey. I often kind of refer to the book and look at some of the information there to help me. And we just came out of a lecture called, I'm referring to some of my notes here because I don't want to forget, The Formula for Health. And he was mentioning 3 reasons why people come to events like this and why they seek maybe the raw food lifestyle. I was talking about that people have disease and they want to get better. They want to know what can make me better, or they want to prevent disease, or they want to feel better and look younger and maintain vitality in their life. And Paul, I was wondering if you would be so kind as to expand on this aspect of getting enough sleep for your body so that we don't create the disease, and about this eating in the daytime so that the body has what it needs to recharge at night. Those were 2 things that really stood out for those of us that were watching.
Exactly. Thank you very much. Well, all health is determined by the quality and quantity of sleep we get. And the reason why diet is so important, because when we eat the diet we're supposed to eat it, and the right time and the right amounts, it puts us in a position to get the proper amount of rest we actually need and the quality of rest we need. However, when we eat an unhealthy diet, when we eat at the wrong times, even if we eat healthy foods when we eat right before going to sleep, the body has to work so hard in digestion. It creates such an energy loss, energy drain. It doesn't give our body the proper amount of time to heal from that. And we don't either, because there's just not enough hours in a day to get the proper amount of sleep we need when we eat a diet we're not supposed to be eating. So I have found out that, in the old days, only 100 years ago, we only ate 2 main meals a day, and they were called breakfast and dinner was served at noontime. It wasn't served late at night the way it is now. And in nature, the only animals in nature that were designed to eat late at night are nocturnal animals. And last I checked, humans don't fit that category. So if you can't see your food in the dark, it doesn't mean turning on a light so you can see it. It means it's too dark to eat your food. The body was designed to digest food when the sun is up, and when the moon is up, the body was designed to cleanse. That's why the moon has gravitational pull on the water of the oceans around the world. Well, it also has the water of the body. It cleanses. And when we're sleeping at nighttime on an empty stomach, the body is in its cleansing mode. But when we eat right before going to sleep or eat too late at night, it stops that and it puts our body in a digestive mode. Well, that's what the daytime is for, and that's when the sun is out. That's what that's for.
What about juicing or is it anything in your system? Or
the more empty your body is before you go to sleep, or many hours before going to sleep, the better off you're going to sleep and the better your overall health is going to be. So juicing is not as heavy on the system as food and whole foods, but it's still food. So if we're eating enough during the day, we won't be hungry at nighttime. There's no need to eat at nighttime. There's no need to eat more than 2 or at most 3 times a day. The average person today eats 5 to 10 times a day based on all their little snacks and their grazing and all this stuff. It's a very bad idea, because you're always putting food right on top of the last meal, never giving the body a chance to rest, and then you're eating at nighttime when the body was not designed to be digesting this food. When the lights start going down and starts getting bright, we should be getting ready for bed and going to sleep, not getting ready to go out and turn on the lights and go go outside and do all this other stuff that people are doing. Adrenal fatigue is one of the most common illnesses today, and it's due to lack of sleep, and it's also due to stimulation from all the things we have today stimulating us. Not only food, but the electricity, the lights. Going at nighttime, we should be lowering, dimming lights and shutting TVs and things that are stimulating us. But what do people do today? They turn on TVs, turn on the bright lights, and go into these stimulating environments and eat these stimulating foods, and then they come home and complain they can't sleep.
Yeah.
Well, there's many reasons why they can't sleep, but I would say when it comes to not only raw food, but all health, everyone could have great health benefits if they stop eating when it starts getting dark outside.
And so that would change as the seasons change. So if it starts getting dark at 5:30, that's when you would go into. I have a mic on here, so you're good. Thank you, though. So at basically going with the times of the year.
Exactly. A lot of people don't understand. We shouldn't be telling our time by the clock on a man-made wall, or man-made clock. We should be telling time by the sun and the moon. The sun and the moon really dictates what time it truly is. So in the wintertime, and this just shows you how great nature actually works. In the wintertime, the days are shorter and the nights are longer. The foods are actually heavier. But since the days are longer, it gives us less amount of time to eat. But since the foods are naturally heavier, we'll be more satisfied. In the summertime, the days are longer, it gives us more time to eat, but the foods are naturally lighter. So they're not as heavy, so we can eat more, but we're eating lighter food, so it's not as hard on our bodies. See, everything in nature works perfectly, and when we eat foods, we get up at sunrise when we're supposed to get up with the sun, and we do the things throughout the daylight, and then when the sun starts going down, we start getting ready for bed. Now, people might say, well, what if you live in Alaska or something else like that? But we don't live in Alaska. The majority of us doesn't, but if you do live in Alaska, well, then just, between the hours of 8 and 5, that's when we should be eating our food.
Okay.
And then after that, we shouldn't be. And, that's very simple for people to understand.
There is a huge movement, and there has been for quite a few years, about this advocacy for small meals throughout the day. And the reasoning behind that, it's easier on your metabolism, and you keep your blood sugar level at a certain pace. And what I'm hearing you say is that you're actually talking about having 2 meals a day. And eating enough so you're not hungry at night. Can you break that down a little bit?
In the late 80s, this crazy concept of eating many meals throughout the day to speed metabolism up came with this calorie counting theory, and it's really a very unhealthy thing to be doing, and that's where more diseases started to grow in popularity than ever before. If we really want to keep our metabolism healthy, to speed up the metabolism is not the answer. That speeds up aging. We want to slow it down, but people are worried about putting on weight when they slow it down. Well, if you're not eating so much, you don't have to worry about putting on weight. That's all we got to understand. And the other thing is, we understand that people say they want to balance out their blood sugar and so on. Well, the answer isn't to deal with the problem, like if you have a disease, you don't want to take a drug, you want to eliminate what's causing the problem. So don't take something, food or whatever else, to balance out your blood sugar. The real answer is find out why you're having that problem to begin with, and the really reason why is because people are eating too much, too often, and too late. But when people start eating 2 or 3 meals a day at most during the right time, their body will do what it was designed to, and it will balance out the blood sugar perfectly. And there's many people, hypoglycemia, diabetics, and so on, that have followed this plan and actually have gotten off insulin and been able to balance their blood sugar fine.
It's so encouraging, and it seems like it's just getting the kind of information we really need to run optimally. And I think that there's a lot of confusion because so many people tell us conflicting things about when we should eat. And I was wondering, would you be willing to give us an idea of how you typically eat?
Sure, and it's exactly what the Daylight Diet says. And the Daylight Diet is a new book I have that has 3 stages of what I would recommend everyone eat. And the first stage is, just get in the habit of eating when it's dark outside. Because we have such a habit of eating the majority of our food when it's dark outside. There's actually something today called late night eating disorder. It's where people eat the majority of their food at nighttime. This is why we're one of the most obese times ever in the history of man, and also one of the most sick disease times as well. So just get in the habit of not eating when it's dark outside. Now, in the summer, you might be eating pretty late because it's light out more in the summer. But again, the foods are naturally lighter. But get out of stage 1 would be get out of the habit of eating when it's dark outside. And then stage 2, which we need to move to eventually, stage 2 is only eat between the hours of 8 and 5. Now, eat as much food as you need to between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. so you're not hungry at nighttime. So that would be stage 2. And stage 3 would be only eat between the hours of 8 and 5, but only 2 times a day. That would be stage 3. And that would be ideally best for everyone. So me right now, I'm on stage 2 or 3. I'm not on stage 1. I don't eat usually after 5. I don't eat. I like to only eat 2 meals a day. Some days I eat a little bit more, but it's not after 5 o'clock usually. And And that's about how I eat, my eating times. As for what I eat, I usually have a good amount of chlorophyll-rich greens, a nice big salad every day, and I eat my biggest meals earlier in the day, and as it gets later, I eat my smaller meals because I want to go to sleep on an empty stomach, as empty as possible. There's a great book, Quantum Eating, by my friend Tom.